Welcome back. Today I'm going to be continuing with my chess set build from a previous video. I made all the pieces, printed off some squares like this, and ironed them together. Got the plastic heated back up a little bit and saw if they would fuse together, which they did. And that was really exciting, and I even went as far as printing off some letters and ironing them into like a relief piece. And that actually worked really well too. It's actually really solid. But I went back and did a little bit of research and figured out that I could print single layers one after the other so they won't interfere with the previous layer. So that's how I printed this concept sheet. So I printed the black first, ran another set in the opposite squares and printed all the white. And it actually holds together fairly strong. It's really thin, it's just a single layer. But it was a proof of concept enough that I wouldn't have to do the ironing. Next I did a piece like this. I did it with the letters in it just to see how the spacing would work out and everything, and that also worked really well. The only problem with both of these is they are a little too see-through. Yeah, you can see the orange moving through. So once I had those test prints, I went back and did basically the same thing, except for with 2 additional layers on top to add a little bit of thickness and make it a little bit more opaque. The plan is now to mount these to some hardboard, some 1/8 inch, you get it at the hardware store, and also to embed some magnets into this so that when it is closed, it stays closed, and then you can just pop it open. So I'm going to drill the holes in these panels that I've cut to size already and embed the magnets, and we will keep going from there. This piece of canvas is going to attach to the rough side of our fiberboard, so that will become our hinge. So that's where the board will fold at. So we're going to spray this and spray these with a little bit of spray adhesive and stick them together. Be sure to shake to get all this real nice and mixed up. When doing this, you're going to want to use a lot of glue. So do more than you think you need. I ended up having to go back in with a little bit of super glue just to cover some areas that started to peel up. When placing the board, make sure the magnets are on the outside. I almost put them on the inside, which would not have worked. So just make sure you're being careful and checking for wrinkles on the fabric as you go. When placing the second board, try to keep that seam as tiny as possible. You can see here I'm pulling the fabric to really tighten everything up so that the next step goes even smoother. You're going to want to choose a fabric that isn't super stretchy. You want it to be really rigid so everything stays nice and tight. We're going to let this dry for a while, and then we're going to come back and install all the board pieces on top. Before we go gluing the plastic pieces onto the fiberboard, I would take all of them and straighten their edges out a little bit. The 3D printer isn't perfect, so the straighter those seams are, the tighter everything will fit together. All right, we're nice and dry, so I'm going to spray one side, install those, and then spray the other and install those sides. Okay, I'm going to stick something in here just so I can pull it off, make sure that they both line up together. Side looks pretty good. Spray this side, get all those pieces on there. Oop. Gotta fight the magnets. Looks good, feels good. Apply the final bit of pressure. After cleaning up the edges, we are left with the final chessboard. So we've got the magnets, holds it all together. I don't know if you can hear it. Just grab the edges a little bit. And I'd say it looks pretty good. I've also got the pieces, which we'll look at here in just a second, just to see how it all looks together. But as you can see, it's a fairly solid surface. You can see the edges, how it all comes together. So there's the 3D printed layers, then the hardboard, then the fabric, and then, you know, the other side. So And the magnets with this little bit of fabric over top of them are just weak enough to be able to pull apart fairly easily. They're actually pretty strong. No risk of this thing kind of opening up. It'll stay really flat. Let's set it up. See how the pieces look on it. Thanks for joining me again on this one to finally make a board for these pieces. I'm super pleased with how they turned out, and if you enjoyed it, please hit the like button, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.